Hello again, students. This is Mrs. G. Today I'm going to read another wonderful story. Today's story is called Pete and Bronco Range Riders. Okay, let's read. Pete lived on the Three Horseshoe Ranch and rode a horse called Bronco. Every year, the town nearby held a rodeo, and Pete went along to watch the contest in the ring. Folks came from near and far to see the cowboys test their skills. The rodeo show always the rodeo show was always exciting and often very dangerous. To begin with, there was bareback riding on broncos. Ouch. That bucked and reared. Some of the more daring cowboys tried riding bulls out, and others jumped from their horses and wrestled steers to the ground. When the time came for cattle roping, Pete always pushed his way to the front of the ring and climbed up on top of the fence to get a better view. Pete had just been given his own lasso. He could do a few rope tricks, but nothing like the rodeo cowboys. I need lots of practice if I'm going to be a real cowboy, thought Pete as he headed back to the ranch. Then I'll be a rodeo star someday. And how hard Pete practiced. Every day he stood outside with his lasso, spinning the rope into small loops, large loops, even figure eights. Time to try roping, said Pete out loud, and he tossed his lasso over the nearest fence post. Right on target, shouted Pete, very pleased with himself. So he tried once more and did it. By the end of that morning, he lassoed every fence post in the yard and never missed one. From then on, Pete lassoed everything in sight. One day, he lassoed his grandma's new sink on the porch in the sun. Time to try roping on the move, Pete declared, and he saddled up Bronco and rode away. Beyond the Three Horseshoe Ranch grew lots of giant cacti, just perfect for Pete to lasso. I'll never do it, yelled Pete as Bronco galloped past the first one at top speed. But he roped the cactus easily. Sometimes Bronco would swerve just to make it harder, but Pete lassoed a giant cactus every single time. Time to rope my first steer, said Pete, patting his horse's neck. Bronco tossed his head and snorted loudly as if to ask, "Is this really a good idea?" But Pete stood up in his stirrups and gazed across the ranch. A herd of cattle was grazing in the distance, but it was too far. Well, have to wait and rope my first steer tomorrow, Pete told Bronco, and he pulled on the reins and headed for home. On his way back to the Three Horseshoe Ranch, Pete and Bronco had to cross some railroad tracks. As they neared the tracks, Pete was certain he could hear snorting and bellowing. There, standing in the middle of the tracks, was a very angry-looking bull. "He's long away from the herd," said Pete with dismay. "We're going to have to take him back." When the bull spotted Pete and Bronco, he stopped bellowing and at once began to paw the ground. Suddenly, a whistle blew. "There's a train coming, and the bull is in the way," yelled Pete. Uh-oh, there are the tracks, and there's the bull. Oh boy, he's in trouble. "Come on, Bronco, it is up to us." The whistle blew again and kept on blowing. This man, the driver, had seen them and was trying to stop the train. Would he make it in time? Pete grabbed the lasso, swung it around twice, and tossed it over the animal's head. He'd roped the bull. Hooray! Slowly and carefully, Bronco trotted away, pulling the bull behind him on the rope. Screech! The train came to a halt just as the tracks were cleared. Oh boy. Down jumped the engineer, looking very relieved. "You and your horse have saved my train and all the passengers. When we reach town, the sheriffs will hear how brave you have been." Before they went home, Pete and Bronco led the bull back to the herd. And when they rode through the gates of the Three Horseshoe Ranch, the sheriff was waiting to thank them. "One day, you'll be champion of our town rodeo," he laughed, shaking Pete's hand. "And I'm sure you'll be riding Bronco." There's the sheriff thanking Pete. He did a wonderful job, didn't he? He saved the poor little bull. Right there. He roped him. So he saved him. And the passengers and the train. So that was really nice of him. Did you like this story? I love the story with happy endings. And this sure did. A lot of people were saved. And the poor little bull was saved too. Nice. Have a great day, students. And remember, wash hands and be safe and healthy. Goodbye now. I'll see you next time with another story.